that. Let's move on. So J. Cole, I say this. J. Cole made better mixtapes than albums. J. Cole made better mixtapes than albums. Now, what are you talking about, J. Red? What I'm saying is J. Cole recently put out the Inevitable podcast. And in the podcast, he's reflecting on his past, his musical past, his climb up to when he was signing with Jay-Z, put out the come up, put out the warm up, Friday Night Lights, all that. I haven't had a chance to check it out. I will eventually, but what he's been doing is this whole nostalgic approach before the fall off, which is genius. You know, I've said this before that this was his marketing plan, and I think it's genius to do this. But one thing he's been doing is releasing his mixtapes on streaming platforms. That's something the fans have been wanting for a long time, but you know, it's a difficult task sometimes to do. So with him putting these mixtapes out, and I've been loving it, man. He's bringing me back to my college days when I was riding around Jackson State in my hoopty, listening to Friday Night Lights, man. Great body of work. And the reason I say that is because with those mixtapes, you got the full, authentic J. Cole. That J. Cole wasn't trying to work on making hits. That J. Cole wasn't trying to impress a record label. It felt like the J. Cole was trying to address his fans. His fans were the record label. The come up, the warm up, and Friday Night Lights are classic bodies of work. But I feel like his best body of work is Friday Night Lights. I haven't heard an album yet. The contender is 2014 Forest Hill Drive, but the hunger and the passion that he had on Friday Night Lights, you could feel that hunger. You could feel that pain and that hurt from being broke for so long and trying to make it, and the hustle that he was doing. You felt all that. You felt more of the soul in it. You got that feeling from some of his other albums, but it felt like he was trying to impress the label and different things like that. So I've been a J. Cole fan since he's came out, and I like my favorite album for him, of course, is 2014 Forest Hill Drive. But it feels like all his other albums don't really have that good replay value like that. Now, his first album, I really don't even really count that as his first album. Born Center was cool for the time, but it didn't age well, in my opinion. Forest Hill Drive, still good. A lot of people feel like that's a classic. But 4 Yards Only, who goes back and listens to 4 Yards Only? Be honest. There's only one track I would go back to listen to on there, and that's Neighbors. KOD started off cool, but overall didn't have good replay value. And then after that, the one that he's in front, I always forget the name of this album, where he was in front of the basketball court and it was on fire. What was that album, man? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Whatever it was, it sounded like a mixtape to me. I didn't really like it when he tried to adapt to the whole sound of what was out, like the Young Thug and the Lil Baby, all that stuff. So yeah, I say that. I think that Friday Night Lights is the best J. Cole project of all time. All together. You can that don't have no skips, period. Now, Forest Hill Drive, I got to go back and listen to see if that had skips. I think it had maybe a couple, but altogether, that was a great album. But I'm telling you, man, Friday Night Lights and the warm up for sure, those two, classic. And I think that he makes better albums than, better mixtapes than albums. Now, also with J. Cole that's coming up, he has an unreleased song, allegedly. Well, I know he has an unreleased song with Bone Thugs, but this is on the way. There's an unreleased Bone Thugs and J. Cole track that is on the way. And the reason I'm saying this is because J. Cole is re-releasing 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And he's re-releasing it on vinyl and CD. And each one of those, the vinyl and the CD, have unreleased music that he recorded but never made the album. I knew back in 2013, 2014, he was working with Crazy and Busy Bone. They were in the studio. I even think I saw some pictures of him, and I heard him talk about it, saying, hey, being in the studio with them, I learned how to kind of stack my melodies, my harmony hooks and stuff like that. And I always wanted to hear that track, and everybody was saying that was going to be on his album. Never happened because he did that whole album with no features. I went double platinum with no features type of thing, right? But what I saw is Bone's longtime manager, Steve Lobel, shared in his story. He shared the J. Cole album, the bonus tracks, and he had the eyes looking like that. And then he had the bone emojis on them. He had the bone emojis. So with that being said, it made us, the Bone fans, be like, oh, so one of those songs are the songs that wasn't released. And I'm assuming he didn't put featuring Bone Thugs because he didn't want to let the cat out the bag. He's probably thinking of us, some of us didn't remember. I remember, and that's what I was thinking of. I've always wanted to hear that track, so I don't know what it's called. Steve Lobel didn't say what the track is called, but you can look forward to hearing that unreleased Bone Thugs and J. Cole track. I know it's Crazy Bone and Busy Bone. I can't wait. I'm amped because I know at that particular time, J. Cole was my favorite rapper, I want to say. And then afterwards, Kendrick Lamar became it when he put out the Pepper Butterfly. But be on the lookout for that. I forgot what date that's dropping, but he's re-releasing Forest Hill Drive on vinyl, and one of those bonus songs is going to feature Bone Thugs. Allegedly, we'll see what happens.